It's the Scotty Myers Show.
Hey, welcome to the show. Hope you're having a fantastic week so far. I'm having a good one, although hectic. I will get into that in just a minute. But I want to do a quick little Disney recap. If you missed the Galaxy's Edge Special Edition show that we did, or last week's show in general, where I was down in Florida visiting Walt Disney World for the opening of Galaxy's Edge. So much fun. If you missed those, go back, have a listen, especially if you're interested in Galaxy's Edge. I've got a lot of information there, and if you've checked out our YouTube channel as well, there's a great little video, kind of a tour of Batuu, as well as kind of a review of the land. But I just gotta say, I love going to Disney. It makes me so happy. It really is, like, to me, the happiest place on earth. It's kind of my place where I can go, I can decompress. If you don't turn the TV on, you really are in a kind of bubble. And the rest of the world doesn't seem to exist, which I needed a little bit last week. There's a lot of hectic stuff going on. As you know, we sold the house. We're moving. I switched jobs. That's always very hectic. So just a lot at once. And it was great to be able to escape to Disney World. I did do the Not So Scary Halloween Party, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, on the Friday night before I flew back. That's a hell of a time, especially if you've got kids that want to trick or treat, because they set up candy stations throughout the park. It's only in Magic Kingdom, but you can go get as much candy as you want. Like, I saw people just filling but they give you a little trick or treat bag, and I saw people just filling it. And then basically sitting down, eating a bunch of candy, and filling it again. It's that kind of deal. But the fireworks there were fantastic. The parade was really cool. It was started by the Headless Horseman. If you like Halloween, and I love it, it's probably my favorite holiday of the year, the Not So Scary Halloween Party is a must-do. So that's just a quick little Florida recap. Again, more info, go back and check out last week's podcast and the Galaxy's Edge Special Edition for more info. And big thanks to the Swan and Dolphin Hotel as well. I stayed there. Perfect location. Could walk to Epcot, could walk to Hollywood Studios. Absolutely perfect location if you're planning a trip and heading down. So we've all gone through this, and I'm doing it now. And it's so nerve-wracking, but moving, it's the absolute worst thing in the world. When we sat here, and part of the reason why we decided to sell the house, my wife and I, was we were kind of the mindset that we didn't have enough stuff. You know, we didn't need the house. The basement, we didn't use the basement. And it's true, we didn't use it on a day-to-day basis, with the exception of laundry and letting the dog out in the backyard. We did not use the basement. Except there were a lot of boxes down there. So we were using it as storage space. Now we're taking all this stuff into our downsized living space, and I'm sitting there going, where the fuck is all this stuff going to go? We need a house again. I'm standing in our new place going, you know what? Maybe in a year we'll buy another house. That's the thought that's crossing my mind, just because I'm looking at all the stuff. And we sold a bunch of it. My wife has done a fantastic job kind of liquidating. We were having like a going out of business sale. All things must go. She did a fantastic job with like Facebook Marketplace and that type of stuff, selling a bunch of junk that we don't need. And we still got a bunch of junk that we don't need. That's really what it's boiled down to. And I'm baffled by it. I really am, because I sit there, and even now as I say it, knowing this, having moved it over the last few days, and we're still not done moving, I still go, but we don't have that much stuff. We do. We all do. I think we all have too much stuff. I think that's kind of the lesson I'm getting out of this move. And maybe it's because I'm sick of lifting boxes, but I'm really to the point, I almost want to become a minimalist. You know, just have nothing. Nothing. A couple of books, maybe. You know, get them from the library and take them back so I'm not attached to them. I don't have to move them around. I just got to pick them up and drop them off. That type of thing. Like kids at daycare. These are my books. Now they're your books. But, I mean, I couldn't do it. I like my stuff too much. That's the problem. Like when I'm moving a box of Funko figures and I'm looking down at them and I'm going, why do I have these? At the end of the day, I know why I have them, because they make me smile. Even thinking about that box of little pop vinyl figures that I moved tonight is making me smile. But having said that, probably don't need them. At the end of the day, if I was going to be honest and look in the mirror, probably don't need them. They're not going anywhere. In fact, they're going to be on display. But probably don't need them, is all I'm saying. And I never want to go through another move again. Ever. Never, ever, ever. Just, it's way too much hell. And next time I'm just paying people. And I don't care if I can afford it or not. I will take out a bank loan to pay people to move my shit. I just don't want to see my shit anymore. I'm over my own shit. I can't wait we should be done the move this weekend, so that'll be kind of stress off my plate. And good timing for the move to be done, in all honesty. The move needs to be done by Sunday, because that is the start of the NFL season. Our long, dark, cold nightmare of no real meaningful football is over. And now it begins again. Football season is back upon us. It's like a friend coming back from a long trip away. I welcome them with open arms. If I could hug football, I would. I would just run up, give it a big old bear hug. So glad that the NFL is back. And I've been listening to a lot of preview shows, and I figured, you know what? I like football. I'll give you a little NFL season preview on here, because I've been listening to a lot of sports talk radio. And some of the teams that some of these commentators are picking, I don't know if they're just trying to be the, I'm the ones that told you so kind of guys, but I don't see what they're seeing. One of the teams that I'll give you that I don't think are going to be as good as a lot of pundits, like I've heard a lot of people saying they're going to be in the Super Bowl, that's the Green Bay Packers. I look at the Packers and I go, good team, but I am not sold on them as a Super Bowl contender. They're a bubble playoff team to me. They may make it, they may not. Meh. I've heard a lot of people picking Carolina to win the NFC South. I don't have faith in the Panthers to do that. Cam Newton's been hurt the last few years. It's not a good sign. I don't see the Panthers as that big of a threat. To me, there's two dominant teams in the AFC. You got New England and Kansas City. Those two teams are very, very good and are going to dominate in the AFC. In the NFC, there's a bunch of good teams, obviously, like LA, New Orleans, but there's also a lot of bubble teams that could go either way. Packers, Cowboys, Kings. Any of those teams could either run the table and give you a 12-win season, 13-win season, or they could end up being 9-7. But there will be a couple of good teams in the NFC that miss the playoffs, and there'll probably be one or two shitty teams in the AFC that make the playoffs. But that's kind of my brief synopsis. I could go into a further, deeper dive into the NFL season, but it's also like, I don't want to pick a Super Bowl right now. Week 1 hasn't even been played yet. There's injuries, all that kind of shit. There'll be some good teams in the AFC, like I said, the two. Couple of really good ones in the NFC. A lot of bubble teams in the NFC. NFC is going to be fun to watch this year. The story that has been sweeping the internet, and I'm sure you have seen it or at least heard of it by now, is this kid that went blind. He's 17. He's now legally blind after almost a decade of having the tiniest diet known to man. He ate only bangers, chips, Pringles, white bread, and occasionally processed ham. That was like his Christmas dinner. Woo, processed ham. Good times. And now he's legally blind. Apparently, the condition that happened in him was because he was so malnourished, and they usually only see this condition in third world countries where food is an issue. They're malnourished not because they're a super fussy eater. They're malnourished because there's no fucking food. This guy just was like, I don't like broccoli. No, I just want Pringles. Well, great. Now you can't see. Learned your lesson on that one. They've given him some vitamins and that in the hospital. Apparently, it's reversed some of the condition, but they don't think they're going to be able to reverse it totally. So he's probably always going to be blind like this. I'll tell you right now, I feel sorry for the kid in a way, because nobody wants to be, blind because of his poor nutritional choices. I will say, parents out there, this is fantastic ammunition for you when you're arguing with your kids, trying to get them to eat vegetables at the dinner table. Just print off this news story and keep it at the dining room table. And when, your kid throws a fuss over eating something healthy for them, slap this down in front of them and go, do you like seeing? Then eat your fucking vegetables. Maybe don't swear at your kids, but still, at least this is a real story of a kid not doing something right and going blind. Unlike those stories that my parents told me about a certain activity, because I can still see perfectly fine. On to the off story of the week. Story that when you see the headline, it makes you go, oh, for fuck's sakes. And I thought we were past this now. Apparently not. And this was the headline that made me go, oh, for fuck's sake. A Catholic school has banned Harry Potter books while... Murphy, I'm talking about Harry Potter books being banned. Calm down. Because of the risk of actual curses and spells. That's why they decided to ban these books. And I love the description as to why the school did it, the little press release that they sent out. It was because they said, these books present magic as both good and evil, which is not true, but in fact, a clever deception. The curses and spells used in the books are actual curses and spells, which when read by humans creates the risk of conjuring evil spirits into the presence of that person reading the text. So what I love about this, if you unpack that paragraph a little bit, what they say in there is that even though the books say that magic is both good and evil, that's not true. But the magic is just being evil, that is true. So it's the good part that's a lie. J.K. Rowling, when, the story is what? She was like homeless on a street corner writing Harry Potter. She was sitting there. She had access at that time to actual powerful spells that instead of just conjuring up a spirit to get her out of her situation, she wrote voluminous books and took the long road to fame and fortune and wealth. And that if I know a bunch of people that have read Harry Potter books, they don't seem to be possessed. They seem to have a lot of free time on their hands because they're very long books, but possessed, not so much. And people sometimes say to me, why do I question religion? This is why, right here. Even in their own statement, they're going, magic is good and evil? No, that's fake. As evil? Totally true. Doffs. On to the geek news of the week. And if you are like me and anxiously looking forward to the Joker film, then this is fantastic news. It had its premiere Saturday night at the Venice Film Festival. And not only have the reviews that have been coming out been fantastic, I've seen a few websites giving it 5 out of 5. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. People are saying that it is a movie that will stick with you a long time after it's over. And that last trailer, if you haven't seen it, it's up on our social media, The Scotty Mars Show on Facebook, at Scotty Mars on Twitter. Check it out. It is impressive. Like, the movie looks good and it feels like it's going to suck you in. Still not sure 100% how the Joker works without Batman. I'm curious to see how they pull that off. But at the premiere at the Venice Film Festival, the movie got an 8-minute standing ovation. Like, just think about that. When was the last time you saw a movie that you thought about standing up and clapping for 8 seconds? This movie got an 8-minute standing ovation. And of course, we've seen this stuff online before, but Oscar talk is swirling around this movie. Not Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the Joker, but even as a potential Best Picture nominee, which would be crazy to me. that this gritty, dark film about, easily the most iconic villain in comic book history, but still, a movie about the Joker is even being talked about as a Best Picture nominee is phenomenal to me. Now, it's going to have a screening at the Toronto International Film Festival coming up soon before it hits theaters on October 4th. And yes, I have added a countdown clock to my phone, counting down to its release. I cannot wait. Sticking with DC movie news, of course, the Birds of Prey film is on its way in February, and a trailer is on its way as well. But an interesting little catch with this trailer. Now, apparently it's been screened a few times in front of the extended cut of Spider-Man Far From Home that's in theaters now. Not sure I dig this whole releasing director's cuts to theaters. It seems a little money grabbish to me, but whatever. But this Birds of Prey trailer is supposedly out there. It will be attached to It Chapter 2 screenings. They're both Warner Brothers films, so that makes a whole lot of sense. But according to a report that came out today, that Birds of Prey trailer, at least for the time being, only going to be in theaters. So don't expect to see it popping up on YouTube or online anytime soon. If you want to see this first look of the Birds of Prey, Margot Robbie back as Harley Quinn, and the rest of the cast, Ewan McGregor as Black Mask, you're going to have to go check out It Chapter 2 to see the trailer. And I know some people online are complaining about this, saying this isn't fair and blah, blah, blah. I actually like this. I'm old enough to remember when they would announce that a trailer for a big movie was going to be in front of another. It created more excitement. Like, I wanted to see It Chapter 2. Now I'm more excited to go see It Chapter 2 because I want to see this look at Birds of Prey. It made the trailer something special as opposed to something you just go, I'll watch it now on YouTube. I like this. I kind of do. I don't have an issue with them, giving it a little breathing space in theaters only for a little bit of time and then throwing it online. I think it makes it a bit more special, and it's going to make me go see It Chapter 2 all that much quicker so that I can see the trailer for Birds of Prey because I cannot wait for that. Love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Now, the Tomb Raider movie that came out just a couple of years ago, I had heard good things, but the box office didn't seem to be that great. So I was kind of surprised when I found out that they were going to make a follow-up. They're going to make a sequel to a movie that did so-so, and they've already set a date for its release. March 19th, 2021 is when we're going to get the follow-up to Tomb Raider. On top of Alicia Vikander coming back to reprise her role as Lara Croft, we also now know who is going to be the director of the Tomb Raider sequel. Ben Wheatley has signed on to direct it. He's best known for psychological horror movies Kill List and A Field in England. He also did a movie called High Rise, which was kind of a dystopian thing, and an action comedy called Free Fire. Not exactly, box office world beater. So I don't know if they're trying to keep the budget low by getting maybe an up-and-coming director or a director that they could get a little cheaper. But be curious to see what he does with Tomb Raider. I love the character of Lara Croft and the story of Tomb Raider. So hopefully this one does a bit better and they can continue to grow the franchise. But didn't seem to start off on the best footing. And we had another trailer drop over the past week that a lot of people have been talking about, and not in the most positive way. We got the latest trailer for the latest Terminator installment, and I watched it, and it was kind of meh. You're watching it, and you're kind of going, really? This is where you're going with Tomb Raider? And James Cameron's involved in this one. When they first said he was coming, finally, we're going to get the proper Terminator follow-ups that we've always wanted. And they've released 2 trailers so far. And so far, neither of those trailers are, knocking my pants off and tickling me underneath. Nothing. They seem very, I don't want to say straight to video or straight to Netflix, but they seem very, just kind of there. Nothing special about them. I enjoyed the trailers for Terminator Genesis more than these ones. Now, I know Genesis didn't turn out very well, but at least the trailers had me more excited to see it than this latest installment. I don't know what it is with certain film franchises that it just seems like they can't get them going again despite how cool and badass the characters are. Like Terminator is a great example. Great character, great story. They just can't seem to get it rolling the right way. Predator is like that. Alien. There's a bunch of really badass film franchises out there that if they could just get them going the right way with the technology today and what they could do special effects wise, it'd be fucking insane. But they just never seem to get them going the right way. Hopefully the bad trailers are just bad trailers and the movie turns out to be decent. But my hope for that right now, not very high. That'll do it for this week. Don't forget to check us out. Social media, Scotty Mars Show on Facebook and Instagram, at Scotty Mars on Twitter. You can always reach out to us there. Thanks again. We got some more reviews and comments on iTunes and Spotify. That definitely helps grow the show, so keep those rolling in. You can also catch us on Blast the Radio Thursday mornings at 9:30. That's blasttheradio.com. And until we chat again, have a great week.